Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily baseball pitching preview show that we do with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. As far as picks are concerned, Joe Duffy's given us winners in the NHL playoffs, but he's going to do his usual preview of the pitching card with us right now for Tuesday, June 9th. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, Joe, thanks for your winners recently in the NHL playoffs. Are your picks going as well at your website for baseball?
Much better. As of this recording, winning days 15 of 19 in baseball. 2 of those days we just lost a little bit of juice, so only 2 like true losing days in a sense, but it's been great in baseball both recently and certainly over the last 27 years.
All right, well, that sounds great. Let's jump right into June 9th. There's a lot of pitching matchups that I want to ask you about, a lot of interesting situations on Tuesday. The first one, Tanaka, right? Give him credit. First start back was awesome. 7 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Very, very impressive start. It was, on the road at Seattle. Still good, though. Now he's going to be home against Washington, which is going to be, a more difficult assignment. And he's going up against Scherzer on the other side, who did get hit a bit in his last start. What do we expect here from Tanaka?
Tanaka's done very well in interleague play in 4 starts, but a 1.53 ERA. Washington, it looked like they were turning the corner and were turning it around, and Scherzer was as well, but now Washington is back in a slump. Scherzer's been okay. You probably could get good value, again, going against Washington. And as you said, Tanaka coming off a pretty good outing. If anything, probably the value, my early lean would be towards New York.
And then a tricky one is going to be Texas and Oakland, right? Sonny Gray and Nick Martinez. And Sonny Gray, arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now. It's going to be a little bit tough, though, because he's going to be at home against Texas. And Texas is the best team in baseball ROI on the road by a mile. And Oakland is tied for the worst team ROI at home. And on the other side, Nick Martinez has been pretty good generally. So, as awesome as Sonny Gray legitimately is, I don't know, maybe he'll be overvalued. Oakland has won Gray's last 3 starts, but they're still just 7-5 in his 12 starts this year. Tricky situation. This is a tough one, but you take the tough ones. What's your take on this pitching matchup and game?
Well, again, it was at the trade deadline last year that Oakland decided they're going to go all in on pitching, and they've been the greatest fade since. As I said, if you want to win with pitching and defense, you better have a good offense, and unfortunately, Oakland hasn't done that equation. As you said, Sonny Gray, you can't blame him. 1.65 ERA. Opponents are hitting just 186 off him, but Nick Martinez has been pitching extremely well. We all know about Sonny Gray, but Nick Martinez has been holding his own. 1.38 ERA in 2 starts against Oakland, 2-1 in 6 career starts against him. So might be a low-scoring game. Of course, you're not going to have a high total, but right. I think should be a very low-scoring game.
Okay, so maybe look to the total there. And then Corey Kluber, he goes again, this time at home against Seattle. His last 5 starts have been awesome, but he did give up 7 runs in his last 2 starts, but still 60 strikeouts in 40 innings over his last 5 starts. That's just awesome. On the other side, Elias for Seattle can be very good. Sometimes he can also be shaky and have control issues. And we know that in general, Cleveland can get overvalued, right? Sometimes their offense shuts down. Sometimes their defense is not very good. What's your take on this pitching matchup?
Well, Elias has actually been an under-the-radar pitcher going back to last July. Just 2 earned runs or fewer in 15 of his last 18 starts. So he's pitched well. We know Kluber, of course, had a Cy Young Award last year, as so many guys do coming off of career years. He was actually go against earlier in the year, but he's settled down. I think this has another low-scoring game written all over. Both of these pitchers are pitching well, and everyone knows about Kluber, but Elias has been fantastic.
Okay, and then Eduardo Rodriguez for Boston, right? 2 awesome, great first starts in the majors. Now he's going to be on the road against Baltimore. I mean, the guy's just absolutely looked electric in his first 2 starts. Is he due for a 3rd straight awesome start, or will he regress a little bit here?
Well, he's going against Miguel Gonzalez, who's really struggled. He's given up the long ball, 3 home runs in his previous start and 7 home runs in his previous 4 starts. So I think, why Rodriguez is pitching well and still takes some time for teams, the scouting report, to get around. I think you got a hot pitcher, of course, in just 2 starts against a pitcher who's really struggled. So Boston would seem to have the big pitching matchup advantage there.
Okay, sounds good. And then Chris Young, had a couple of excellent 5-6 inning starts and then had 2 straight bad starts recently. That's not a huge surprise. I think we were all expecting a regression. Question is, what to expect here going up against Minnesota? Minnesota, very strong home team, but Kansas City has been good in general. And Trevor May on the other side, coming off a great start at Boston. He can have off days, though. I think the biggest question is, what do we expect from Chris Young? 6 innings of 1-run ball or another subpar start from him?
Well, yeah, he's pitching on the road, and Trevor May is starting to really come into his own over his last 4 starts, 3.38 ERA. So, maybe a slight lean towards me in that one.
Okay, and then have to ask you about Anibal Sanchez at home against the Cubs. John Lester on the other side, pretty reliable guy, Lester. Question is, which Sanchez will show up? If he gets crushed, that wouldn't be a surprise. If he throws 8 innings with 1 earned run, that wouldn't be a surprise either. What do you think is more likely?
Well, remember John Lester, although he's seemingly turned it around, he's coming off of a rough outing, so he's been a little streaky this year. Granted, we said that his early struggles were a result of some of the mental problems he was having with that pickoff move, but I think the fact that a little bit of a bubble burst after having such a good stretch, he got knocked around. Probably a surprisingly high-scoring game, or at least I think that Lester's probably going to get knocked around a little bit. I would probably lean towards the over.
And then Noah Syndergaard going for the Mets at home against San Francisco. San Francisco can have a productive lineup. At times they've picked it up a bit. And Syndergaard had a really odd start last night. That game at San Diego was very weird. I thought he was going to do well, and the line got bet strongly against him. He didn't have that bad of a start, though. He had 4 innings, 10 strikeouts, and no walks, but he gave up 7 runs. It was a very odd start for him. What do we expect here from him at home against San Francisco?
Well, remember, I've said time and time again, I think that the strikeouts can be pretty overrated. A guy that has the ability to put the ball in play and get double plays. I always thought that strikeouts are probably one of the most overrated statistics when it comes to evaluating pitchers. He's been at least at this point, a splits pitcher, and it's not that uncommon for young pitchers. Syndergaard has given up only 1 total run in his first 13 1/3 innings at Citi Field. That's a .6 ERA, but on the road he struggled 6.46. But of course he is pitching at home, so I would say ride the splits and go with him.
Okay, that's all I wanted to get to from Tuesday. What else do you think might be valuable for us to think about, Joe?
Tampa, Nate Carnes, he really hasn't pitched all that well at home. When people talk about splits, they always seem to focus on guys who are much better at home than on the road. But I like to find either where there's not much of a difference between home and road, or where he's actually struggled more at home than he has on the road. And Nate Carnes has been one of those pitchers, so he might be somebody to fade a little bit. And I'm surprised you didn't mention your boy Dallas Keuchel. We usually talk about him.
That's a tricky one. I mean, he's going on the road against the White Sox, so I think I'm just going to take a pass on that one. Do you have any read on that game? Anything that you think might want to point us towards?
Well, it is true. We have to get back to that magic word of value, but it is very, very tough to fade this guy. I mean, bet against him. I think you either got to go with him. If you think it's a good pitching matchup, maybe go towards the under, because he's got a 1.85 ERA. He's doing at least 6 innings in each of his 12 starts. So he's been the poster child of consistency. So again, it comes down to that magic word value, but there's no way you can go against this guy the way he's been pitching. And I think, Michael Wacha has been one of the best road pitchers in baseball as well. I don't think we talked about him. 6-0 record, 1.58 ERA, and he's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his 6 road starts. So again, I like to find those pitchers that pitch well on the road, and he's been one of them.
Yeah, but do you think you count Colorado as a road start for him? I mean, anything can happen with these, with these starts at Colorado, right?
That's very true. But again, he has pitched very well. So yeah, Coors Field is almost like a category in and of itself. Right. But the fact that he has pitched so well on the road, it's very tempting to continue to ride that.
All right, interesting card on Tuesday. Thanks for your thoughts, Joe.